My name is Donnie Veal, and I grew up like every kid in America. I played tag, I threw rocks, I rode bikes, and every once in a while, I got into other sorts of mischief that kids get into. I didn't realize it at the time, but later on in life, I would learn that my community was an underserved community. But as a child, it felt like any other place, a place that I loved, a place where I formed bonds with other children who had similar experiences or had been impacted by similar events. We formed bonds over coming from broken homes, homes impacted by domestic violence, alcoholism, and drug addiction. Though these things happen in every community, I would come to learn, and kids act out and respond to trauma in all sorts of destructive ways. I did too. And at 14 years old, I started to hang around with gang members, but I wasn't really looking to join a gang. 10 years later, I was involved in a non-fatal shooting that resulted in my receiving 34 years in the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. On the day of my sentencing, I could still see the pain in my family's face as the judge handed down the prison sentence. In 1996, at 24 years old, I started my 23-year walk towards a light at the end of a tunnel that at the moment was as tiny as a pinprick. Many of you have heard about the dehumanizing conditions of incarceration through movies you have seen or books you have read. I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that most of the stories you have heard are true. To the untrained eye, this photo may not reveal any physical signs of trauma. But upon closer inspection, you can see the mental trauma that I had to endure throughout my incarceration. Notice the rolled up mattress in this photo? The first thing that I would do when I woke up in the morning was put on my shoes and roll up my mattress. This was used as a way to not only activate me mentally, but also as a display to others that I was alert and prepared to defend myself if need be. Our United States military refers to this state of mind as combat readiness. And I had to live with this heightened sense of awareness amongst experiences of physical abuse, sexual abuse, discrimination, financial exploitation, medical neglect, systemic racism, and the harsh realities of confinement, all the while adjusting to live in inhumane conditions. There were hours of soul searching and self-reflection when I would lay on my bunk and beat myself up over and over again with questions like, how did I get here? Or where did I go wrong? Or most importantly, what am I going to do to survive when I get out? Throughout my incarceration, there was one person that remained my guardian angel, my brother. He encouraged me to use my time in prison wisely to invest myself, never giving up on me, even though I never listened. For years, his words went in one ear and out the other. But somewhere approximately 15 years into my incarceration, my mind started to pivot. Although my release date was over a decade away, I began to fantasize about the things that I wanted to do when I got out of prison. I would thumb through a magazine or other periodical and see places that I wanted to go, places that I wanted to live, or things that I wanted to possess. However, the one thing that I needed to obtain anything close to the vision board I had built in my mind was steady work and money. Before my incarceration, most of my jobs included manual labor, where I relied on my physical strength, work ethic, and soft skills to maneuver myself through the ranks into less labor-intensive positions. But I had gotten old in prison, and I knew that I could not rely on my physical strength to sustain me for the rest of my life. The prison wasn't offering me anything in the form of training that would allow me to be self-sufficient. With the pressures of reentering society upon me, my brother's words finally began to resonate. So I enrolled in correspondence courses that were offered through Coastline Community College. But the barriers to education in prison are huge. College courses are already hard enough in a conventional setting when you come to that part of the material that you just don't understand. But most of us can attend office hours or ask our professor to help us get past those parts of the material that we are stuck on. For the incarcerated, there is no one we can ask. I found myself running around asking correctional officers, counselors, and even fellow incarcerated people for help. But they were just as confused as I was. But in 2014, Hartnell Community College started offering in-person classes at Salinas Valley State Prison, and I was elated. No more running around asking correctional officers, counselors, or even my fellow incarcerated people for help and not getting anything in return. No more shuffling books around to make sure that I was underneath the limit. I anxiously signed up for the first class that was offered, a public speaking course. In this public speaking course, we were prompted to find a topic that we would research and eventually give a speech about. The topic that I chose was recidivism. The reason why I chose this topic is because I wanted to learn how not to come back to prison. Recidivism is defined as an act that results in a person being rearrested, reconvicted, or returned to prison with or without a new sentence within 3 years. Currently, in the United States, the recidivism rate is between 64 and 68%. After reading that information, I was terrified. Here I was in year 21, 22 of my incarceration, and I was reading that there was a strong likelihood that I would be returning to prison within 3 years. But there was hope, and I focused on these facts. Ex-offenders that receive some form of high school education or equivalent could reduce their chances of recidivism to approximately 55%. Vocational training or other certifications can reduce a person's chance of recidivating to approximately 30%. An associate's degree drops a person's chance of recidivating down to 13.7%. A bachelor's degree reduces a person's chances of recidivating to approximately 5.6%. And a master's degree or higher would reduce a person's chances of recidivating down to approximately 0. And that's when the lightning bolt hit me. If I worked hard to obtain my education, I could break the chains of recidivism and live the life that I had dreamed about years ago. So upon my release from prison in 2019, I embarked on a transformative journey starting here at Cabrillo, where I earned 2 associate's degrees. From here, I transferred to the University of California, Santa Cruz, where I earned my bachelor's in sociology in 2023. Throughout this academic journey, my brother was my anchor, teaching me valuable life lessons. Just as he taught me how to fish, symbolizing patience, perseverance, and skill, he installed in me the qualities I needed to navigate my way through life successfully. Today, I am the program coordinator for the Rising Scholars Program here at Cabrillo College. Where I work with formerly incarcerated students and provide them with academic support, resources, and community. I stand here today as a representation of the resilience of countless formerly incarcerated individuals. Let us recognize the inherent value that formerly incarcerated people bring beyond free labor. Let us advocate for a system that cultivates our humanity and compassion, promotes education as a catalyst for change, and paves the way with freedom and hope for thousands of incarcerated people just like me. Thank you.